In today's noisy world, salespeople aren't really competing on price or features. They're competing for attention. But attention alone doesn't close deals, connection does. And nothing builds connection faster or more naturally than storytelling. You've probably felt this yourself. The moment you stop explaining and start telling a story, people lean in, they relax, they engage. And the reason is simple. Stories make people feel. And in sales, emotion drives action. Emotion creates trust. Emotion builds belief. Emotion turns hesitation into momentum. That's the foundation of what I call story selling, something I break down step by step in the Ultimate Sales Guide to Selling Anything Easily, available on Amazon. Now, there are 3 stories every salesperson needs to master if they want higher trust and higher closing conversations. These stories aren't optional, they're essential. They're the difference between sounding like every other salesperson and becoming the trusted advisor buyers actually want to know, follow, and buy from. Let's start with why stories matter more than ever, because selling isn't about flooding people with information, and it's not about sounding smart, and it's definitely not about scripts. People do feel the stories they hear. People trust someone who shares something real, not someone who just keeps talking because your customer wants to connect, and your stories will lower defenses. They replace pressure with curiosity, and they make buyers think, this feels familiar, this feels safe. That's where selling really begins. The first story every salesperson needs is a customer story. Customer stories answer the question every buyer is silently asking, will this actually work for me? A good customer story turns claims into proof. It removes uncertainty, and it helps the buyer see themselves getting results.
Start with something like this example. A client just like you was struggling with this same problem. After using our solution, here's what changed and how they feel now. That shift from theory to reality is powerful. The second story is a personal story. People don't buy from perfect salespeople. They buy from real ones. A personal story says, I've been where you are. I have the same doubts. I ask the same questions. That kind of honesty builds trust fast. Sometimes all it takes is one sentence. When I first tried this, I wasn't convinced either. But once I used it, I understood why it works. That does more than any feature dump ever will or could. And the third story is your brand story. This isn't about what you sell. It's about why you exist. Your brand story answers a deeper question buyers don't always say out loud. Why should I believe in this company? When your mission is clear, your message becomes magnetic.
Every great story, customer, personal, or brand, follows the same simple structure. The problem, the struggle, the solution, and the result. That journey lowers resistance and makes your solution feel like the natural next step. Story selling isn't manipulation. It's communication in its most human form. Facts inform, but stories persuade. And when you learn to use stories the right way, you build trust faster, reduce resistance, and make buying feel safe. That's the heart of trust-based selling, and it's exactly what I teach in the Ultimate Sales Guide to Selling Anything Easily, available now on Amazon.